Liquid. This really does feel like it's going to be a strong map for Liquid. MockIt might be able to respond, who knows, but just based off of recent play, knowing the map, MockIt's going to ban it on Montaigne.
Interesting first choice. That is definitely something.
Yeah, I feel like there are other maps, or not other maps, other operators that you might want to pick first beyond a Montaigne, but he has been pretty dominant lately.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason for that. Most likely we'll see, as far as defenders go, both these teams tend to ban Echo and Mira. So we'll like to see those go, but it could be Glaznek. No, it's going to be a Thatcher going for Liquid. Well, that'll be interesting to see. And this is where we'll likely see that Mira or Echo, but they could change things up if they have different strats.
Probably both, honestly. There goes the Echo, and I imagine we are not going to see a border with Mira on it, so.
Yeah.
Round out the bans with a Mira as the final operator, most likely. It'll be MockIt's choice, should they choose to, and there we go. That's both of them. We talked about it before we even went live, that both of these teams really, really love banning out Echo and Mira. It's usually both of their top defender bans, so no shock they both get taken out and each team is happy with it. And it's an odd scenario in which both teams walk away with their preferred banned operators.
Yeah. I'm almost surprised that that Liquid didn't go for banning Ying, but we'll see. So actually it looks like Liquid going to be the one to potentially abuse the Blitz if they stick with that. Both these teams also tend to enjoy playing Dokkaebi, so it's definitely something we might see. But if there is Gohan making the switch there, so it will not be the Blitz. It will be a different B-named operator. But we will, of course, be starting on Armory Lockers. No surprise there. So.
Common ban in Latin America on border, however, is a buck, and that's interesting that Liquid has let that through as well, taking out the Thatcher of all things. Thatcher on border.
So far, historically, they've mostly banned just Glaz on border, but I guess they decided they just don't want to deal with making it easy for them to take Armory. Well, this is interesting. This is a lot of downstairs defense for Armory. Like, they're really setting up downstairs in terms of a lot of reinforcements, a lot of potential utility dedicated. This is very different. And it's a case where Liquid could just be like, that's fine, we'll just take the top floor. Because the thing is, as a defender downstairs, Pulse is okay from fighting his way up, but the rest of the operators generally are not very good fighting upwards because you have to use stairs to get up, whereas the attackers do not. So this does, I would think, give attackers a huge advantage. I'm really curious to see how this goes, because this looks a lot more like a Vents defense than an Armory defense, despite where the bomb site's at. We're definitely seeing something different here.
Well, the focal point most likely will be Kryn on the Pulse, as he that cardiac sensor relaying the majority of information to his teammates up top, just kind of relaying where the push is coming from, how many are stacked to which side, which angle they're favoring, who among those players on either side are stacked with who, and then of course having a Nitro cell. Late round, monumental piece of utility, and it looks like the first member of MockIt will get droned out. The second one as well. Kryn rips both with the UMP brothers inside of Vent and Workshop with a rotate through. The skeleton key from Gohan rip open the wooden barricade, and Paula angling in from outside. The F2, probably one of the most dominating weapons on the attacking side or in the entire game as a whole. Angling down and bearing down against a couple of UMPs stacked inside of Ventilation and Workshop. It's going to come down to positioning and accuracy for those UMPs to try and survive the onslaught of that F2, even if Paula just decides to randomly pre-fire a wall.
I mean, honestly, if I was Liquid at this point, just come in, take the top floor, take the stairs. Just secure the stairs, and then what are they going to do? They can't rotate up very effectively. Then if you control those stairs, get the wall open, and there's just not a lot they can do to get you, especially if you got the Dokkaebi as well to make those phone calls. I mean, yes, they have the Pulse, but there are ways to try and play against that. You could try and bait out that C4. I don't know, this is, again, this is an interesting defensive strategy, and I really want to see if this works or not, and what really this is meant to do, other than maybe keep Pulse alive longer. But that's a lot of utility dedicated to just keeping a Pulse alive, just to maybe stop a plant that could even come down into different areas. Let's say if they take from offices to archives. But in the meantime, Nesk has taken control of CCTV. Paula is still working on this window. There's a ping gone out onto the, I believe that's the castle.
Yeah. Jumping into the ventilation window will be Paula, but oh, what a great shot from Kryn as his phone rings out and he'll have to back off deeper on the escape. Gohan trying to fill in now as Paula was felled. Now, there's only 45 seconds left, and the armory wall has been opened up now by Zig, but Nesk holding on any rotations inside of small. inside of break room, waiting for rotations towards the metal stairs, but none such. You still have Kryn downstairs with the cardiac sensor and the nitro cell. He can stall out plant basically on his own. It'll be up to Gohan holding flank downstairs to try and dispel that opportunity. And Zig taking Diffuser down main hallway now, as it looks like everyone on Liquid are trying to initiate a full rotate over into Archives, as there's nothing there to stop them, but 20 seconds remaining. It has to be a swift and accurate execute, but Vale and Rips will rip straight through Sexy Cake and Gohan. Another one coming up the main stairs. Nesk will grab the first kill for Liquid in this match, trying to angle in for a second one, but he's now left alone as Vale will shred through Zig and Nesk will fall. It's a quick and decisive round there for MockIt. After a lot of waiting around from Liquid, it all comes down to the last 40 seconds, and it's MockIt taking it away in spades.
I'm still a little confused as to how that worked. It was sheerly won on gunfights, and Liquid's just confusion. I mean, I got to imagine Liquid looked at that, they were like, what is this setup? Where is everyone? Why are they not upstairs? Why are there people downstairs? Why are there two people trying to defend inside with all this reinforced wall? I mean, I don't know if that would work a second time, but just sheer confusion and just gunfights won. I mean, Pala coming in, he absolutely should have won that gunfight. He lost it. I mean, the F2 losing to the ump, it just seems a little odd to me. And it could just be Liquid still warming up, but Pala really should have come in there, guns blazing, should have been able to win that. Drones should have known the positioning. It seems a bit odd, but kudos to MockIt on pulling off a very strange defense and winning it for what I doubt will be repeated, because I don't think there was anything they were doing that was so extravagant that they would just be like, wow, this is the new meta, everyone should be doing this. So we'll see, though. They are going to have to switch bomb sites, and now they will definitely be down at Vents, as that is now their bomb site. Obviously, they dedicate similar amounts of utility to it. Castle going to still be in play here. So we'll see how well they'll defend the top floor now is the real question. Are they going to be able to stop Buck from getting there and starting to tear up the floor? Are they going to be able to stop Pala from coming in and doing some serious damage with the F2? They also have smokes in play from Sexy Cake, but they do have Maestro's Evil Eyes to be able to see through that. They may also even have a bulletproof camera from Castle, depending on whether or not they go with impacts or bulletproof cameras on him, but that will definitely help in stopping Sexy Cake from being able to just abuse smoke to make those plans happen.
Last round for Liquid really seemed like a lack of initiative on their push downstairs. They really wanted to clear out Kryn and Rips downstairs, the UMP tandem, and there was just never initiation of a push up until the last possible second. So it'll be up to Liquid to try and get themselves some initiative, some reason to push on, and some early energy, honestly, because that seemed very lackluster on the effort side of Liquid on that round. It seemed like it should have been a clear victory for them. They had the positioning, and MockIt, like you said, were playing a strange setup. Yeah. But it works out off of Liquid's indecision, and a minute left, and again, we have a lot of Liquid players with ACOGs just staring at doors, waiting for MockIt to make the first move. And granted, MockIt have a history of being a little more aggressive on border. Yeah. However, that is just not the case right now. They're playing quite standard.
Well, they did lose the batteries. They've still got 2 left, which he didn't use any on the wall, but that was the wrong wall to choose. He's just going to have to back off it and play an angle on it. No, actually, it looks like the impact tricked it. Nicely
doing that
done.
Last round, too.
Yeah, that's definitely something that is really invoked moment. There goes both of the exothermic charges. Well played by MockIt. Great job installing this out. Now both those walls now electrified. There is no second hard breacher of Havana, and Gohan is going to finally punish Rips. But it's a little late. They have definitely lost their main thrust of their attack. They're going to have to rotate Gohan, taking a little bit of run-out damage. He is at least close enough to the roof to repel away, though. Unfortunately for them, no punishment coming out, though, on the defenders. And they're just measuring that aggression. A minute left here means it's now on Liquid to try and rotate, but that's going to be read into, right? You know they're going to make that rotation. All MockIt have to do is rotate in kind.
Ooh, a great rotation there, but a team kill. Ness grabs it onto Kryn, but Zig will put a bullet in the back of the head of his teammate. So leveling things out and actually keeping the man advantage for a moment will be Liquid, but Zig on low HP. KS as well is taking a little bit of damage from inside the site as that smoke. Trying to repel the entry here of Team Liquid as they have 35 seconds to convert from a top clear down to a site execute. They're still ripping up the floor and trying to displace some of these anchors, get them out of these favorable and very strong positions that are well known inside of Workshop. KS turning his attention back towards the bottom of metal stairs, towards the main hallway, and Vale's taking a little bit of damage, but a great flank here from Corey. He'll level things at 3v3 with 15, the phone ringing out, and another one, no one looking towards main lobby as Corey is given free reign to roam, and that will be the diffuser lost in main lobby. This is a useless round for Liquid unless they frag out. Paula will grab one onto Vale, but time ticking away. Pre-fire for Corey. All he has to do is even stall time at this point. Paula can't get into the objective, and Gohan has been down. Corey wins it out. A beautiful 3K from the Bandit on the flank, and MockIt quickly take a 2-0 lead.
Well, definitely MockIt just really still continuing to catch Liquid off guard, who do not seem prepared for this style of defense. But it was also down to really good defense of the wall. I mean, Bandit missing his battery on the correct wall, but then impact tricking. They didn't expect kind of the double tricking going on. Usually you're doing one or the other. The fact they were able to pull that off, very impressive. MockIt are definitely showing something that we're not used to seeing from them, and I think a bit of creativity and very much playing differently than Latin America do. We'll see how their Bathroom Tellers defense goes, though. This is really where it's going to get interesting, I think, for Liquid, because this is just one that you don't see very often. Sexy Cake gonna sneak in the Ying, though, to make this happen. I gotta imagine they're thinking it's likely to be Customs Tellers, though, and might be preparing the Ying for that to help try and take the top floor into CCTV. But that's not necessarily going to be the case. They're not going to be able to do that the same way, but still going to be useful if they want to take the top floor in terms of taking offices and using the Candelas for that. So still going to be beneficial for Sexy Cake to be on that, but now they've given up their smokes, so hopefully they didn't need that for the plant, and instead it might just go in for a bit more of aggressive play, try and clear the room, get some control. But I don't know if this is really the bomb site they're expecting to be fighting, so that top floor control going to play a little bit differently, but it is still the same theory of take top floor so you can plant below.
Well, an operator swap up coming out for Liquid as Sexy Cake will be picking up the Ying, an operator that we haven't seen any of so far today, which is a little surprising, to be honest. Her dominance and especially the aggression from teams that we expected to be seeing, not really there for the most part. Like we said, a lot of these attacking sides have been extremely tentative, and it's the hesitation of the attacking sides that really seems to be the culprit into why they're losing so many rounds.
Yeah.
It feels like they are honestly playing extremely safe, although here's one defensive long shot there. I believe that was by Kryn with the UMP from supply room. One shot will land on the backside of Gohan, but he'll back away to safety with no trouble caused past that.
I feel like they're definitely messing with Liquid. It's the case where they're making some runouts, they're doing some different plays, really confusing the way they play, and taking advantage of that. I mean, you gotta appreciate the psychological mind games potentially coming out here from MockIt, really throwing Liquid off of their attack. And attack does require a lot more confidence than Liquid are showing. Like you mentioned, they're kind of hesitating a lot on some of these attacks, and I think that is benefiting MockIt quite a bit. This could be a round where they, Liquid maybe changes things a little bit because it's a hard one, but Kryn just absolutely putting hurt on Nesk is not going to help that.
Inside of Archives is Kryn with the UMP on the castle, and he'll back off a little bit as the first Toxic Babe comes out from KS to stall out any refrag attempt. But now Kryn's taking a lot of damage over inside of Office. A vault in here from Poly into Archives, and Zig following up. They have one man on the main stairs on metal to worry about, and that's Rips on the Jaeger. Looking to make the flank, and Zig covering it for now, and Paula again, slow on the entry to push through, has barbed wire to clear and waiting for the secondary push. Kryn another one onto Zig on 10 HP or so. Through the rotate hole, Sexy Cake will trade out Rips on the main stairs. That was the intention of the flank gone. And now with 75 seconds left, the last Toxic Bay will be used from KS, and it'll repel Liquid if only for a moment. But the Office's breach coming from Liquid seems to be in full force.
Well, we'll see if they're able to turn that one kill into a bit more of a push, because Kryn still being allowed to live with such low health here is really not working out. They do at least have the diffuser, but again, look at this hesitation from Sexy Cake. Not really sure how to play this. Too worried about crossfires. He is finally going to get in KS though, going to trade that back, punish it, trades and trades and trades.
He's going to leave Sexy Cake alone as he uses the Candelas, but even possibly while blind, we won't even know. But KS, 6 inches away from a Candela, is turning away. Guess he was good. SMG-11 straight to the face. So that will initiate a timeout for Liquid, tack timeout for the Latin American squad, who are down 3-0 currently on border.
Honestly, it seems like a good time for a timeout to go, like, what we're doing is not working. What MockIt are doing is throwing us off. Now's the time to really think about it. You see the coach getting down there explaining what they need to do differently, thinking about, I got to imagine it's down to explaining how they should be taking map control. Like, he is taking the time to really look at what a MockIt are doing, saying, here's the way you guys need to start approaching this so you can get a foothold and stop getting picked off one at a time as you go in. Just kind of confused as to what's going on.
That's how you know a coach is upset too, when they get low down, like when they bend over and
like
they just
like child.
Their automatopoeia matches their body movement. Like their syllables are lining up with their hand motions. Like when we get upset about stuff, we do that too. Absolutely. You can tell Silence is not exactly the happiest human being right now. And it's showing. Liquid down 0-3 currently on border to MockIt. And I don't think there's, with all due respect to MockIt, I don't think there were a lot of people predicting this start being this hot for MockIt.
No, and it's definitely working out good for them because you need to start like this. You need to really kind of get on the right foot for a team that is considered kind of the underdog in this match. You need to put the fear into them just to make them really question everything they think they know about you.
So back to Armory Lockers and Archives we go. MockIt running the gauntlet so far on border and being successful at all 3 stops. They return to the primary objective, and Kryn again jumping over to the Pulse, this time on a 6-pick, so it will be concealed at least through reveal phase, and also a 6-pick from the Dokkaebi to the Zofia. So our first Zofia of the game will also be picked up from Sexy Cake, and it's been a carousel of operators so far for Sexy Cake. Not a lot of stability on one specific role. He's been thrown into a few already, and it's only been 3 rounds heading into the 4th now.
That is always how it is with him. Once they brought him onto the team, he was by far the most flexible player. He was always one playing the new operators, playing the different roles, playing the unique things. He's the one to play Clash, things like that. And he continues to be a vital part of Liquid in the sense of, like, if they need something weird to be played in a different way or do some kind of interesting different strategy, he is always the go-to guy for it. And that's why you always see him on 6-picks. He is playing that flexible role, like, we need this. Okay, Sexy Cake's the one to take it. Ryan, 5 kills already, just out of these 3 rounds. Definitely working for his team here. And like I said, he is the top-rated player on the team, and you can see why.
Last time around, it was Liquid attempting to go for an armory wall push, and then in the last 20 seconds, attempting a full site attack rotation to go for a seemingly empty Archives. So if you're Liquid in that scenario and your Silence is the coach, you really got to kind of tell the guys, you made the right decision, you just did it a minute late.
Yeah.
You got to kind of clue into that a little bit faster. Whoever's IGLing that, whoever is calling for the push, because it could be someone other than the IGL who's calling the actual direction of the push. Someone's got to speak up.
Yeah, some teams kind of have sub IGLs too.
Yep.
People that make the calls when someone else is busy, or if they see something that's important information, they'll make a call out. Just in terms of, this is what I see, this is what needs to happen to support me or someone else. And that's definitely important. Again, with the Evil Eye right there, that's something we saw Nesk take out last time. I'm surprised he's not shooting that. He's so focused on the impact tricking. And we're seeing so many teams get way more creative with impact tricking this particular spot. It's interesting to see.
Ooh, Paula just missing, surprisingly, every single bullet onto KS. He'll live to fight another day and possibly impact trick once again. More aggressive peeks coming out towards this tiny, tiny hole in the side of the wall there, but Paula will finally claim his first victim with that monstrous F2, and it will be Rips, the Jaeger that was peeking from metal half wall, and Nesk is going to fall straight into the small office. He'll be able to down and finish off KS with the hip fire, still positioned strongly inside of the small office. The pre-fire, Paula will pick up his kill for him, shooting the Nitro Cell out of the air and still blasting on through with the R4C. Mag dumps into the corner, and it's Kryn alone, and Archives in a 1v4. The plant going down, and Gohan will clean things up in a Kryn as he tried to narrowly escape out through Fountain. A good cut off there from Gohan as he sledges into the back of Fountain, and there's no escape for Kryn, and Liquid, after the timeout, will bounce back with a very strong, aggressive, poignant round win.
And I think that was what I was talking about earlier on, was that confidence and the aggressive pushes, because they're not they're not setting up a huge amount of defense in a particular area. They're just really focused on just kind of keeping Liquid at arm's length most of the time. And because of that, Liquid finally were like, wait, we see some weaknesses here. Let's just charge straight into them. And part of that was letting Nesk's drone just sit on that windowsill. Nesk completely capitalized on that. He's like, okay, well, I know I can just, he's not paying any attention to me. He is absolutely focused, laser focused on guarding that hole in that doorway into armory lockers. Because of that, I'll just run and shoot him in the back.
Well, it was a strong initial start there from MockIt, but stopping the bleeding momentarily will be Liquid, and they'll try to bring it back with a little more aggression again, as it'll be a reattempt of Armory Lockers and Archives for MockIt on their 5th defensive round. One more before we head into the second half and team swap side.
Interesting, they are going to bring the Ying, but at this time it's Gohan taking it.
Yep.
60K did tease that blitz, but he is 6 picked off of it, so they are looking, I think, perhaps for a little more stun effect this time. You're going to get the lifelines going into stun combined with the Candles. And again, we are seeing this heavy bottom floor defense that we saw the first round for this Armory Lockers. Will it work a second time? Still kind of curious on whether or not this is something that Liquid can pick apart, especially if someone like Paula can get it and actually get the kills onto the players in the workshop and servers area.
It was also interesting to note that Kryn wasn't playing downstairs as the Pulse last round, and if he had been inside of server, or sorry, underneath the server hatch by workshop, probably would have been able to spot Ness going up metal stairs and cardiac sensor and, you know, keep KS alive.
Yeah. It is ironic because we did see him last time when he was playing downstairs come up metal for a kill. It's definitely something that could happen, but I imagine Nesk is going to be, again, looking for opportunities. He's looking for any kind of weakness so he can just dive straight in as the spearhead, get some kind of map control, get at least one entry kill, and everyone's going to immediately turn to him. He's going to get the kill. Everyone's suddenly going to focus on him, and if they time that right like they did last time, then the rest of the Liquid, especially players like Paula, can come in strong, throw that in some Candelas with that as well, and it could be a very quick execute again. But look at this, you see these castle barricades. Nesk completely unsure how he wants to attack this, but he does have 2 remote breaches. He could open both those castle barricades. There goes the first one. Reloading, could be going for the second one. Nope, he's gonna just open the wall instead.
Opening up a lot of purview into the depths in the back by Mattress inside of Workshop, and Kryn holding out on a pixel angle momentarily, waiting for Ness to cross his line of sight. Lots of yellow pings coming out everywhere. I think it's just Corey saying, I've got your door, through the kill holes in the floor. And now it looks like he's repositioning, so he's telling him, I've got impact hole now, you got door. Rip's holding out in behind the server rack as well. Yeah, Corey's covering door now. It's going back and forth in between door, but Nesk not falling for it one bit as you'll be able to take down Kryn. You still have Rips downstairs playing over by the server rack as well, but 80 seconds remaining as a decent amount of time has been burnt, but you've lost the Nitro Cell in the process, and that's your most lethal portion of utility that is placed downstairs, and Vale will be able to trade out Zig momentarily, bring it down to a 4v4 outside of that armory wall. The diffuser is down, they can't breach the wall any longer. 60 seconds tick away. You still have a man downstairs, and Liquid losing that pressure and aggression they had earlier on.
Well, that diffuser just sitting there like that is going to be a big problem, but I think he's just waiting for the moment when Paula has taken that control below. Again, there's another castle barricade right there, but Nesk is slowly creeping in on Rips. Unfortunately, loses the fight, and Corey gets one as well.
Circles around, here come the Candelas, and it looks like Vale was completely blind, not a hope in hell of seeing anything. KS, though, from inside locker sandwich, whipping up the shotgun, and he'll lead it up with a double kill to round things out. KS puts MockIt back in the driver's seat after Liquid again go back to their stalling ways. That
really should have worked out much better for Liquid. They did a fantastic job of capitalizing on the weaknesses they saw. But it was the mid-round that really killed them. Once the trade started coming back, once we saw, for example, the Maestro getting the kill, and the fact that they weren't able to completely take advantage of the push they made. So Ness got the 1 kill, and then they just kind of stalled out for a bit. Like you said, they came in aggressive again with the Candelas. That should have been where they cleaned it up, but they didn't drone it effectively enough to be prepared for that shotgun and sandwich. It was just, again, Liquid are doing a better job, but they're not doing a good enough job. Now they're down 3 points in a 4-1 situation against the underdog team just by purely underestimating these defenses. And I gotta say, I really am impressed by MockIt. The way they're holding things is just so different than we're used to seeing. And it's really like they're almost catching Liquid in these situations where any of their pushes, they don't seem to be able to turn those into map control enough and they're always traded out. And we're seeing especially the Maestro as well, for example, just being able to hold them back very effectively, and it takes Candelas just to be able to take him down.
Well, in recent history, we have seen a game like this on Border then turn into a tie, and that was SSG against Rogue in North American Pro League earlier on this season. It was a 5-1 split in favor of Rogue on their attacking side. And then once they swapped to the defense, SSG pulled the same thing against them. This time, it's the defensive side of MockIt prevailing, and quite profusely, honestly. Up 4-1 currently, possibly going to be going 5-1 on the split.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. This is definitely going to be, again, the downstairs defense, something they have won before, but I imagine this should be Liquid a lot more prepared. They should take that top floor, should do some top floor down pressure. This should work out a lot better for Liquid. It's just, again, the unpredictability of MockIt that's really costing them. Liquid need to play slow at first, but absolutely need to execute Swift again like they've been trying to do the last couple rounds, just with more confidence and more drones.
See Ness lining up outside of the break room door now. Drone's coming through. He's going to be droning himself in, and now Rips retaliating with a little bit of fire in through that soft wall, and it's that top control again coming out for Rips and Corey upstairs playing inside of Armory, the small office. You also have Kryn over by Archives. Strong setup top side, and KS taking a lot of damage on the objectives. Looks like Nesk is a little more site-centric on the push, but Nesk will fall to Corey. He'll use the Nitro Cell to open up the CCTV hatch. He's got one on drone inside a detention doorway. No clue that hatch has been opened up, and now Paula angling in, waiting for Corey. A few inches to the left, and he'll have the headshot lined up, but no connection just yet as Corey playing in behind the circle monitors, and oh, as he tries to escape back to Armory, Sexy Cake will cut him down from behind on the flank. Reestablishing control up above and making sure that Paula and Zig trying to push in through customs and detention won't have any resistance to face from above. Kryn and Rips upstairs still holding down Armory with that top control. They do have some kill holes in the floor, just as they did last time around, watching doorways, watching possible impact holes that will be opened up. Paula slowly making sure that Vale hasn't moved, and I don't think he was aware that the left-hand side of his wall had been ripped open to that degree, because he exposed himself quite mightily to a left-hand flank. And the head just below his purview, in behind the mattress and the desk at the back of Workshop. He keeps confirming this on the drone. The pre-fire can connect on the shoulder, but cannot land the devastating and final lethal blow. Ducking deeper into the depths of the corner now is Vale underneath, constantly on ping. Just a wave of drones non-stop, and he'll finish it off with the revolver, so a man advantage established now for Liquid as we enter the last 35 seconds, and KS debating whether or not to go for the hallway flank. Pressed right up against the edge of the ventilation door as the rest of the push starts collapsing down main lobby. It's a full horizontal take. One man going for the flank upstairs, but Rips will read that beautifully and shut it down. Sexy Cake with no top control. We get to Liquid to push horizontally in towards the objective and clear out the anchors, and KS's shoulder giving his position away. Paula rips straight through him with the F2. Going upstairs for top control now with Paula as they get upstairs. They got two up top and Zig planning from down below. Kryn, the last man alive, in a 1v3. Zig pulled off and will go for the reattempt now, heading over to the Workshop, looking through the kill holes. Can't see the man with the diffuser, and the mag dumping to no avail. No bullets connecting. Kryn on 10 HP. We'll have to dance around and try and go for a full rotation. A 1v3. 3 to find. Holland, extremely high health points compared to him.
I believe he could do this. If anyone could pull this off, it's Kryn with such low health and such little time.
Smart play to knife the Claymore, make the least amount of noise possible as he's slowly rotating in towards main lobby, coming through the double door, and he's got one directly on his right inside of Customs. It'll be Zig to close things out, and Liquid stave off the 5-1 split. They at least bring another one back into their, wow, okay. Zig with a great one tap there.
Why not?
That'll end the half for us. A 4-2 split in the favor of MockIt on their defensive side. MockIt will now have to head to the attack, and it'll be up to Liquid now on their back foot. Try and bring this back in their favor on the defensive half.
I mean, that was definitely a much better round for Liquid. They seem to have finally learned, hey, they're on the bottom floor. We could probably just attack the bottom floor. Their one attempt upstairs didn't work out so well, but either way, Liquid managed to adapt, but it was too little late because now they switch sides. Now they're going to have to play very differently than before. I'm really curious to see how aggressive MockIt bring this, because they are bringing the Dokkaebi and the Ying, which makes me think phone calls, smoke, Candelas. Let's go for that plant that they've been doing so successfully. well, somewhat successfully in Pro League. It's something that could very easily be punished and has been, but there's not a lot of trap operators in play to slow them down. I mean, I guess at least the Evil Eyes will help stop that potentially, but it's the C4 that I would worry about most, I think, at this point, if you're MockIt.
Paula going to be carrying one of those nitro cells. Gohan with the possibility to do so. And I don't really see why you wouldn't, as the other option is a bulletproof camera, and you've got the Maestro at your disposal. So just waiting to see how the rest of this setup will take, and really what MockIt want to do on the attack. We haven't seen a lot of archives pushes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that are pretty typical when you really feel like you can't push through the wall. And that was definitely something that, you saw the impact tricking combined with the bandit battery tricking.
Paula with a deployable shield, so there goes one of your nitro cells.
Again, like we were talking about with MockIt earlier, that's possibly a questionable move there, but I guess if you really need it and no one else is going to bring it.
I mean, you probably could have brought the deployable on Nesk if you really wanted a deployable that bad.
It's too bad they can't throw an exploding deployable shield just in case. Maybe that would help.
Just in case.
Yeah, you never know. It's a backup, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got 6 barbed wire as it stands right now, unless Zig also brought a deployable. But yeah, Nesk bringing the barbed wire. Sexy Cake most likely has the barbed wire unless he's impact tricking. Like, there's certain variables that could be accounted for as to why Paula's the man to have the deployable, but typically there are other options you can make. You don't want to sacrifice the lethality and the range that you have, especially with Plant Denial as a Valkyrie.
You could have had Jaeger bring it.
Yeah.
Because the barbed wire is not going to be as powerful as a C4.
Yep.
Especially in situations like where Paula's playing, where C4 over the top of that shelf can definitely work.
Waiting for this setup outside of break room now as we get pretty deep into the attacking round now, and it's a full armory wall take right now for MockIt as the Mute Jammers are stalling out Veil momentarily. You can see the impacts coming out down below from Corey, trying to get rid of those, and it will be successful. So, far left side at a crouch height will be opened up by the Thermite of Veil. So MockIt at least have some penetration into the reinforcements that Liquid have set up for this armory wall take, but at a 5v5 and not a lot of control of the map outside of CCTV and break room, this could be extremely difficult for MockIt to push in with any kind of confidence.
I like that the Thermite, instead of focusing on half wall, is focusing on the super tight angle in a small office. More often than not, you see them trying to focus on half wall, trying to fight those angles and make for peaks, but instead they're fighting like these more tight angles. Corey as well trying to cover us around from here, looking for the opportunities. Does see Evil Eye. He does not have any lifelines to take care of it, though. He can't exactly throw a breaching charge. He doesn't even have to catch that arm. Rips does it, and Veil going down with the diffuser. Unfortunately, doesn't finish it.
Can't get the plant down, and it was stalled out from the shotgun from below, and Gohan's now been down, so it's Nesk in a technical 1v3. If you discount the downed members as they are cut off from multiple angles, and KS will clean up the down, and Veil's actually been revived now with Diffuser. Pushing into small office was Kryn as he made his way up metal stairs. Nesk will fall, and it's MockIt continuing their winning ways from the first half, up 5-2 on border. Again, a result so far that I don't think many out there had written down as a prediction.
Well, not to mention, this is Liquid's map, and one that they're very good at, one that MockIt have not proven to be good at so far in terms of their Pro League record. They have lost it both times they played it, so it's just, this is an interesting choice, and both times they lost it, it was a 5-7, so they, I guess, didn't lose it too badly.
Games, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely looking like, if anyone's going to get the 7 so far, it's looking like MockIt. Even once they switch sides here, they also are bringing this Yingen. It's just, I don't know, it's interesting to see this working out. Though, despite losing the top floor, they are going to switch bomb sites, even though they could stay up there. Deciding, let's change things up to ventilation, but the way that MockIt are playing, I'm not sure this will make a huge difference in their defense unless this just turns out to be a much better defense all around, or at least they're able to play a little more constrained. But the thing is, in many ways, this is a worse bomb site because for a couple reasons. One, you have to split your defenders up generally. Two, if you lose top floor control, which you almost always will, they can now use that against you as opposed to just typical map control in horizontal sense where they can fight you. But in this case, they have advantages in doing so because they can fight you in many ways better than you can fight them. But the upside for Liquid is that there's no buck or sledge being brought by MockIt, so they will have to use potentially breach charges to open the floor.
There's a decent amount of options for breach charges actually on the MockIt side. So Corey is not bringing any. He's got the Claymore, but there's Kryn, and Rips has the possibility to as well in the Ying. Not sure if he has, but the Dokkaebi will have Claymore or smokes, and the Thermite will have Claymore or flashes. So possibility of 6 breaching charges versus a skeleton key if you wanted to bring a buck instead. Pretty much the same amount of destruction, honestly.
Yeah, and in some ways safer depending on how you play it.
You don't think you're sacrificing between the buck then is the frag grenades really in the difference, and then
yeah, that's true.
The advantage of having the C8 over the T95 on Ying.
Yeah,
I'd much rather be bringing a C8.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I mean, there's some people that struggle with it still, though. While it is a great gun, not everyone can control it as effectively. But we'll see how they're able to pull this attack off in terms of they are still going to be opening up some of the floor there you see with the lifeline. But you got to be very cautious with the utility because the big difference between something like Ashe and Zofia, and Ashe is something that Corey plays a lot, is your utility matters a lot more as opposed to your just fragging power. But the M762 is still a very, very strong gun.
Seems like MockIt have identified a weakness in the hold right now for Liquid, which is that there is no one playing bathroom and the walls are soft. So this is easy for Corey to pop open with the last remaining impact on the lifeline. Open up a nice kill hole with great visibility towards the depths over by the server racks and server desk of the A-bomb inside of Workshop. And it looks like everyone from MockIt now will start stacking for a bathroom side take. The stun canisters come out on the lifeline. KS holding flank as 6K is still above using the shotgun pre-made holes. It's a Cold War upstairs. No one really jumping in on the engagement. Both members on either side hit the deck, but Paula will be worse for wear in the engagement. However, he's a doc, and he can stim himself right back up inside of Customs.
Nonetheless, so that was definitely a fight that put Paula off of position, and they already kind of knew someone was in bathroom, so it didn't really work too much against Corey, who's been just given so much control by being able to play here. And there we go, a few more shots onto Paula, who's now having to use a little bit of vertical elevation to keep himself safe from those footholds.
All the smoke's coming out, and here come the Candelas being flown in now by Rips, and you can see Corey trusting the angle, knowing he'll get it eventually. Rips shreds straight through Gohan as he tried to hold from the server desk. Prone on the floor is Zig. He'll get one before being felled, and it's all up to Nesk now in a 1v4. Plant gets completed inside of Workshop, underneath the Workshop hatch. This is a devastating position to be in. You still have one member of MockIt upstairs on the top control. Nesk indecisive in which way he'd like to go first to try and pick apart this 1v4. He needs to take the 1v1s, his most favorable engagements, try and isolate some of the members of MockIt, but they have the top control, they have the destruction. He'll find an easy pick on a Veil, just not paying attention. He's got a monitor off or something, but rotating up onto the desk, it won't make much of a difference. Corey will put things on match point on border. 6-2 currently for MockIt.
I gotta say, overall, a very questionable defensive setup. Not only did they leave it soft, they set up footholds that Corey uses against the dock all the way across the map, and nothing done to counter it. It's just, they left everything open, and they sat in positions. They weren't going for great flanks. They weren't baiting MockIt into these great traps. They just sat there and took it, and took it, and took it until they just came in with the Candelas, planted, and Nesk, yeah, he got one freebie onto the sleeper on MockIt, but that was it. It's just,
I don't know, Veil forgot to, charge his mouse before the game or something. He was just static looking at a wall, but hey.
I mean, stats-wise, you might think that happens to him a lot, but it's the rest of the team just, like, okay, thanks for the free take, I guess. Like, I guess Liquid don't want to play border anymore.
That's the big thing.
Look at the smiles on their faces, too.
He's having a great time. Everyone on MockIt's having a great time right now, and why wouldn't you be? It's 6-2. Honestly, you're the underdogs, and let's be honest, MockIt were extreme underdogs in this entire tournament coming in.
And again, this is a map that hugely favors Liquid. It was their map pick. They were the most prepared for it.
MockIt haven't won it at all yet this season. They've tried twice, granted close games, but...
And Liquid won it both times they played it. 7-5 against BD, 7-1 against Pain. Like, this is not a map they're bad at, but the way they're playing it, you would think so.
And Black Dragons is not a team to sleep on. Like, they're incredible right now for being on that bottom portion of the LATAM stack right now. They're, quite honestly, the 5th best team in Latin America. And
again, some of it is just MockIt's playing. Thank you for shooting this speaker.
Yes.
Someone is just, just MockIt in general is just playing this so differently than Liquid expect, and that's the problem with being such a isolated insular meta is sometimes you're just so unprepared to play other regions. And I don't mean the case that like Liquid haven't played other regions tons of times, but they're not playing them all the time, and MockIt are just playing a very strange setup in many ways. And I don't mean strange in like a bad way, I just mean strange in like it's not what you expect to see, and it's surprisingly working very well. I don't know why you thought you were gonna get that drone past him, Crying, but I guess try, you know.
The thing for me with MockIt is that they look like they're not getting caught up in the BS that Liquid are trying to bring. You know, that whole top floor hold last round, MockIt did not care. They had one guy flank hold, everyone else push site.
We talk about playing your own game, and that's exactly what MockIt are doing. They're just coming right in with Candelas. That's the way you take CCTV. Even gets the spray through the wall. He looks like downing him. Yep, finished it off too. So it's just, wow. This is almost awkward to watch. This looks like it's already over for Border the way things are going. Liquid are really gonna have to bring something hard here to bring this back, because the only kills onto KS, 50% damage to Rips, and that's not nearly enough because now they have a lot of map control. They've trapped the last 2 defenders on site, and they get, oh, look, Paula didn't bring C4 again.
Suddenly down to a 2v4 for Paula and SexyK to try and work out of. Rips on lower HP and are utilizing some of his utility, but it worked out greatly for them. Showing out in spades, using the Candelas to jump in through CCTV and grab 2 kills, 1 through the soft wall in a rotation and 1 inside of CCTV. And like you said, no Nitro Cell on Paula, which means there's probably just 1 remaining on SexyK if he hasn't already used it. He's playing shotgun point blank range on the armory wall. He does still have his Nitro Cell, so there are other options here. The Thermite Charge from Veil will open up the bottom right-hand portion of that armory wall once again, and looking through the tiny hole in the small office wall again is SexyK, because he dives back and forth, just trying to evade common positions, because 1 pre-fire leaves Paula alone, and he's gonna get caught out at Speak of the Devil from AC. A 1v4, SexyK alone against the world. Here come the utility, and no, it's just going to be Corey jumping in. It didn't even require any utility whatsoever from MockIt on the push. The site execute, not important whatsoever. And MockIt will take map number 1 against Liquid, 7-2 on Liquid's pick. We now head into Clubhouse.
Yeah, that was almost embarrassingly fast. This is looking like Paris against